What's good? What's up? Hey, can you keep in touch? What's up, you guys? It's Mahogany, and I am back with another video for you guys. Today I will be doing a Q&A, introducing myself, telling you where I'm from, what I'm about, and what I can bring to this platform. Thank you guys for tuning into this video, and without further ado, let's get into the video. So my name is Mahogany, last name Clark. As some of you know, some of you may not know. I also go by the name of Mahogany Writes as well, because that's the name I came up with about 3 years ago, because my first name is Mahogany, and I really love that name. I'm so glad my parents named me Mahogany, because it's it fits me. Mahogany, brown, it's strong. I love it. So I came up with Mahogany Writes because I love to write. Something that I will do no matter what is going on in my life. I know for a fact I will always be writing. So I put together Mahogany Writes. I am 21 years old. I just turned 21 on July 24th. So let's pop it up for that, seeing 21 years. I'm from Miami, Florida. Born and raised. Actually, I moved around a lot in Florida, so I stayed in a lot of different places. In my middle school year, I moved from Miami, Florida to Broward, Florida, and that's where I did my entire high school years. I was in the band from middle school to high school, and I also played basketball in middle school, but when I got to high school, I made the choice to just play in the band, which I enjoyed. And I still have love for it, and it took me places that honestly a lot of other things probably couldn't have. And it was really family oriented, and I enjoyed my time in band and the people that I met along the way. So yes, band was great, and band was a great part of my life. Now I am currently located in North Carolina, Fort Bragg, where I'm stationed in. I am in the military, the U.S. Army. I'm an E4 specialist, and I am in an air defense unit. So that is my current occupation, and that is what my livelihood is. So I also am enrolled in school. I'm getting my degree and associates in science for right now, and then of course I will take it up to master's. So that's what is going on right now as far as work and school and things like that. So I am also a author. I have been writing since I was about 12 years old, honestly. That's when I really started to write, and I would just write to really express myself, really get things, out there. Really basically have a voice when I couldn't speak my truth. So that's really where the writing came from, and that is how I would cope with certain things that was going on in my life. It was therapeutic to me, and it still is to this day. So I decided to write my first book when I was 19 years old. I had just recently got to my station, and this was before I deployed. So I know I love to do poetry, and I know I was always writing and things like that. But if this is something that I'm gonna do, and this is something I say I love, and this is something I would do no matter what happens in my life every day if I could, I decided to take it more serious and put it on a platform. And then out came my first book, Self-Love. Self-Love, a book of poetry written by Mahogany Clark. I self-published my first book back in 2019, 19 years of age, and I have not looked back since. So that was awesome to me. This book changed a lot of people's lives. This book changed my life. This book encouraged people, and that's exactly what I set out to do when I originally started writing anyways. To encourage people, to change people's lives, change people's perspective, encourage them to love themselves first, put themselves first, always put yourself first. And that's exactly where this came from, because there was a time where I was not putting myself first. We all have that moment in our life where we choose other things that don't serve us over ourselves. So it's always good to choose something that serves you over yourself. Then we fast forward, I deployed a couple months later, and when I was deployed, I wrote my second book, which is also, it's more like a journal. I wouldn't necessarily call it poetry, but it can be poetry too. It's more like about the life that I lived before I joined the military, before I got into the Army, and how the Army even came about. This book, basically, you can find on Amazon, both of them on Amazon. I wrote this book because it was just some things I needed to release to get off my chest. Like I said, that's the original reason why I even began writing. So I told my life from my perspective about what was going on around me and in my house, and how I managed to keep going regardless. You know, I kept my grades up, I kept going to school, I stayed out of trouble, and I kept a good head on my shoulders, because I knew that this was just the moment. It is not my future, it is the moment. And that's what this book does. It encourages you to keep going in life, and it also shows you that you can do anything you want to do regardless of your circumstance that was handed to you. It's not about the cards that was handed to you, it's all about how you play the hand that was dealt. Remember that. So, I did post online about the Q&A, and only 2 people really left questions. So, it's okay though, you know, don't worry, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to answer those 2 questions, but they were actually 2 very, very good questions. And the first question that I got was, how did I go about getting my books into the bookstore? So the way that I got my books into the bookstore is on Amazon or any site normally that you put your books on, that you upload them to. You can have them printed from that website and sent to you. So many copies sent to you, author's copies. So you will order them, and then I ordered them and I got them here. I went by the bookstore. Second and Charles was the first bookstore that I went to and got my books in. And what Second and Charles does is they purchase your book for 60% of what you sell it for. So you sell them so many books for 60% of the profit, and then they will put it in their bookstore. Not all bookstores do that, but some bookstores do. So Second and Charles happened to do that for me, and that's down here in North Carolina. So you can always call the bookstore and ask them, do they accept books? Do they take, you know, independent authors' books? Do they take, you know, whatever books you write, children's books, poetry, whatever you write, you ask them, do they take these books? And then you go down there, you bring them so many books, they'll purchase them from you, and then they'll put them out on the stand. And then also, of course, if they sell out, they'll call you, and then they'll ask you for more. So that is how I went about getting my book into the bookstore. It's actually not really hard. So if you want to try that, you can definitely try that yourself. Also, the second question that I got was, how did I deeply feel about writing my 2 books? Like, what did I feel when I was writing these books? So I kind of already gave a glimpse of it, but I'll get into a little bit more detail. Self-love. When I first started to write self-love, it was because I was laying down and I knew I wanted to write a book, but I didn't know what about yet. And I was like, why not start with something that's actually true? Something that, you know, we all write our best works, or we come up with our best works when it really relates to your actual life. So self-love was an issue that I was dealing with, you know, letting people run all over me, putting people first, or putting situations above me, and not really speaking my truth all the time, you know, letting somebody else have it, say so, or, you know, just in general, not putting myself first. So that is why I decided to actually, that's how I came up with the title. And the title was the first thing I came up with, self-love. And I actually I thought that title was perfect. And then after that, that is when I began to write. So I went through different phases that I went through, learning self-love, different situations, different things that we all encounter when we're not putting ourselves first. And then I encourage you at the end to always put yourself first and never make the same mistakes that was made. A cup of family tea was really, it came from, if I have to be honest, while I was deployed, even before I deployed, actually, I was having these nightmares about my childhood. It was never specific, but it was always like symbolic. It could be something that happened that was similar to what happened in my childhood, but it was never like exact. But it was like with the, it could be people that actually are family to me, and then, but it's not a specific situation that happened, but it was symbolic. So I kept having those nightmares and then I always wanted to put out a book about necessarily my life before the military anyways, but I avoided it because, I didn't want to have the issue with family. I didn't want to draw a wedge, I suppose. I mean, even though we're pretty distant from each other anyways, but I didn't want to draw that relationship wedge, if that makes any sense. So that's why I never did it, but I continued to have the nightmares. And I don't know, I felt like maybe it was just because I just needed to release. And sure enough, after I finished writing the book and I released this book, the nightmares came back up, honestly. So I guess it was when I continued to, this is when it came out, of course. And, my family didn't know what was in store. I did speak to my auntie, one of my aunts, about the book, but she didn't know either what was in store for the rest of it. She was there at the beginning, so she didn't even know what was necessarily in the book herself. So when it came out, of course, some people were unpleased, and some people felt like I fabricated things, I lied about things, or I just made up things. And then I left certain things out that they felt like I should have put in there. So there was that. So yeah, it was a little bit of a, a little rough patch for my family wise. But like I said, as anything I write, anything I put out there, both of my books change people's lives. Both of my books encourage people. Both of my books actually gave people an understanding on who I am, and people from a long time ago who knew me, actually, they understood me better because they recognized, maybe that was some of the things that I was encountering is probably why I was the way I was, and why I became who I am. Because I could have became a lot of things, but I didn't, I became something better. So that's what you always want to try to do, no matter what is given to you. So that is how this second book really came about, if I had to be 100% honest. But it's out now. I haven't really seen my family since I released that second book. I seen my father once. We didn't talk about it, but yeah. So there's that, but yes. So now you guys know a little bit more about Mahogany. And if you have any more questions or any more video ideas that you would like me to do, anything that you would like me to talk about as considering my books, anything you really want to see on this platform, please do not hesitate to leave a comment below and tell me your thoughts. And I thank you guys for watching this video, tuning into this video. And if you made it this far, definitely thank you, because I know people's attention span is short. So I just want to say, make sure you subscribe, like, share, and comment on this video. Thank you guys for your support, and I will be seeing you soon with another video. Bye.